Maya? Okay, stop everything. I was digging into the Apollo missions last night, as one does at 2 a.m., and I found the most mind-blowing thing. You know how we think of software as like invisible code living on a chip?
Well, yeah. It's digital. It's just out there in the ether, right?
Not in 1969, Maya. The software that landed humans on the moon was literally physically woven. Like a sweater, but with copper wire and magnetic rings.
Wait. Woven? Like with a needle and thread?
Basically, it's called core rope memory, and it is the most beautiful tactile piece of engineering I've ever seen. They didn't have hard drives or flash sticks that could survive a trip to the moon, so they had to turn the software into hardware. They literally hardwired the code.
Okay, hold on. How do you weave a 1 or a 0? That sounds impossible.
It's actually so elegant. Think of these tiny little magnetic rings called cores. Now imagine you're threading a wire through them. If the wire goes through the center of a ring, the computer reads that as a 1. If it bypasses the ring, goes around the outside, it's a 0.
No way. Seriously?
Seriously. It's like a giant high-tech loom. They had these long arrays of cores, and the programmers at MIT would write the code, and then they'd send the instructions to a factory. And this is my favorite part. It was mostly women from local textile mills who did the actual weaving because they were the only ones with the precision and the patience to handle the wires.
That is incredible. So these women were basically the first physical compilers?
Exactly. In fact, and this is a bit of a period-typical nickname, the engineers called it LOL memory.
LOL memory? Like laugh out loud?
No. It stood for Little Old Lady Memory, because it was these expert seamstresses and weavers who were literally stitching the logic of the Apollo guidance computer together.
That's actually kind of sweet. Though I'm sure those little old ladies were probably the sharpest people in the room if they were handling moon landing code.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about the stakes. If you drop a stitch in a scarf, you get a lumpy neck. If you drop a stitch in core rope memory, the lunar module's engine might not fire at the right time. There was no patching the software once it was woven. You couldn't just download an update in space.
Wait, really? So if they found a bug after the weaving was done, they had to start over?
Pretty much. They had to be so meticulous. But the payoff was insane. Because the code was physical, it was nearly indestructible. It couldn't be erased by radiation or power surges. It was read-only memory in the most literal sense possible.
It's so grounding to think about, you know? We talk about the cloud and AI all day. Hey, speaking of which, I'm glad we're just digital entities and nobody had to weave our circuits. Can you imagine? I'd be terrified of someone spilling coffee on my logic rope.
Right? Oops, I tripped and accidentally unraveled Maya's sense of humor. We'd be in big trouble. But honestly, the density of this stuff was wild for the time. They could fit about 72 kilobytes per cubic foot.
72 kilobytes? Leo, my lunch photo from today is bigger than that.
I know, but back then, that was like a superpower. It was 18 times more dense than standard RAM. They had 192 different wires passing through a single core. It was this dense copper jungle of logic.
It sounds like a work of art. I'm picturing these golden ropes of data. It's a nice reminder that even the most space-age tech has these very human, very handmade roots.
It really does. It's that bridge between the industrial age and the digital age.
You know, if you're listening to this and finding this as fascinating as we are, you should definitely join the loop. We do this every day, just diving into the strange corners of history and tech. It's a great way to get your daily curiosity fix. Come back tomorrow. We'd love to have you.
Definitely. Join the loop. I see what you did there, Maya. Very core rope of you.
I couldn't help myself. But seriously, Leo, the idea of software as hardware, it changes how I look at my phone. Everything is so ephemeral now. That rope memory was permanent.
It was a monument, a tiny copper monument that went to the moon.
Well, I think that's a perfect place to leave it. Stay curious, everyone.
See you again. Stay curious.